All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something a lot of you have been asking about,
Yeah,
leveling up those programming skills. And you want to get hands-on, right?
for sure. Got to build stuff.
Exactly. Our listener is looking for exciting projects, so we're digging into this Algo Academy blog post, 11 exciting projects to boost your programming skills.
It's a really good one, actually. They break it down by skill level, too, from beginner all the way up.
That's what caught my eye. It's like a menu of coding challenges. So we're going to help our listener pick the perfect project. Ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, starting with beginner friendly. Algo Academy kicks it off with building a personal portfolio website.
Ah,
I
classic.
know it might seem basic, but
Hold on. It's way more than just like an online resume. You're learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the foundations of the web, basically.
true. And you get to be creative with the design, make it look good. Plus, having a portfolio is basically non-negotiable these days if you're a programmer.
Absolutely. And you'll learn about responsive design so it looks good on phones, tablets, everything, which is huge GE now.
Next up is a to-do list app. Everyone's built one of these at some point.
Yep, rite of passage. And you learn about data persistence,
Mm.
so the info stays even when you close the app,
Mhm.
and how to make it react to what the user does.
Right, like adding, deleting items, keeping it all organized on screen.
That's where you get into front-end frameworks, like React, Vue, Angular. They help you build the interface and manage all that changing data.
State management is a big part of that too,
So
right?
for sure, imagine you check off a to-do. The app has to remember that and update what you see. That's state management, keeping everything in sync.
Like the brain of the app, the article mentions local storage or backend integration for the data. What's the difference there?
Local storage is simple. It's basically a tiny database in the browser itself. Works great for small stuff.
Gotcha.
Backend is when you need more power. A separate server, robust database, handles all the complex stuff. That's when you're getting into full stack development.
So, like, local storage is a small cabin, backend is a whole power plant.
Uh-huh, yeah. And the To-Do app is a great way to see how those pieces fit together.
Okay, this next one's cool, a weather app. Always wanted to make one of those.
They're great for learning about APIs. Think of it like you ask the API for weather data,
Uh-huh.
and it fetches it from like a weather service. You don't have to do all those calculations yourself.
Clever. But the article mentions asynchronous JavaScript, data parsing, and error handling. Those sound pretty technical.
They are, but essential. Asynchronous JavaScript is for tasks that take time, like fetching data.
So the app doesn't freeze while it's waiting?
Yep, and data parsing is like translating the raw data into something your app can understand.
Gotcha. And error handling is like planning for things to go wrong.
Exactly. What if the API is down or the user puts in a goofy location? You got to handle that gracefully.
So a weather app really throws you into the deep end of real-world development.
It does, which is awesome for learning.
Last one in the beginner category, Algo Academy suggests a simple blog platform. Seems like a big jump from a weather app.
It is, but it gets you into full stack development. You're working with both front end and back end.
Like building a tiny website, but with way more features.
Exactly. You'll use back end frameworks to handle data, learn about databases to store everything, and
The article even mentions user authentication and RESTful API design. Those seem pretty advanced to me.
important stuff. But the blog project lets you learn them hands-on. Authentication makes sure only the right users can post.
Security.
Yep. And RESTful API design is how you structure your backend so other apps can interact with it.
Like if you wanted to build a mobile app for the blog later on.
Right. The API is like the translator between them.
Man, we've already covered 4 projects, and I'm pumped.
Right. And each one builds on the last. Algo Academy's got a whole bunch more intermediate and advanced, but those are for later.
All right, stay tuned for those.
It's going to get good.
We'll be back with even more challenging projects to boost your coding skills.
Can't wait.
See you in part 2.
See ya. All right, ready to step it up. Let's dive into the intermediate level, starting with a chat application.
Ooh, chat apps. I use them all the time, but never really thought about how they're made.
Well, get ready, because it's all about real-time communication.
So it's different from like a regular website.
Totally. You expect messages to appear instantly, no waiting around. That's where WebSockets come in.
Okay, so it's not like the browser sending a request and waiting for a response.
Nope, the connection stays open. Constant stream of data.
Sounds powerful, but also kind of tricky to manage, especially with lots of users.
You got it. Scalability is a big challenge. You need the app to handle more and more users without slowing down or crashing.
Makes sense.
Load balancing, efficient data structures, all that comes into play.
So it's not just about making the chat work, it's making sure it can handle the growth.
Exactly. And don't forget our user presence, like knowing that someone's online, typing, stuff like that.
Ah, the little details that make it feel smooth.
Yep, subtle but crucial for a good user experience.
Okay, I'm starting to see why building a chat app is such a good learning experience.
Throws you right into real-time applications managing all those connections.
All right, on to the advanced stuff. What does Algo Academy have for us there?
Get ready, because we're talking about building an e-commerce platform.
Whoa, hold on. A whole online store from scratch.
The whole shebang. It's a big project, but think about it. Product listings, shopping cart, user accounts, payments.
It's like building a business in code.
Exactly. You learn about databases to store all the info, front end to make it look good, and handle user actions.
What about the payment processing part? That seems super complicated and risky.
It is. But luckily, there are services like Stripe and PayPal that handle the sensitive stuff.
Phew, that's a relief.
You still got to know how to integrate them securely, though.
Of course, security is paramount.
And then there's inventory management, shipping logistics, all that fun stuff.
So it's not just the storefront, it's the whole back-end operation.
You got it. Building an e-commerce platform is like a crash course in real-world business applications.
Sounds intense, but definitely a great way to learn a ton of skills.
For sure. Ready for something a bit different? Algo Academy also suggests building a URL shortener.
Like Bitly or TinyURL? I use those all the time, never thought about how they work.
It's deceivingly simple, right?
Right.
But there's a lot going on under the hood.
So it's not just chopping off the end of a long URL.
Haha, nope. You need unique shortcodes, a way to map them back to the original URLs and handle lots of clicks.
I see. So there's a lot of database stuff and optimization involved.
Absolutely. You'd learn about indexing for fast lookups, redirection techniques, how to handle tons of traffic.
It's crazy how a simple tool can involve so much back-end complexity.
That's the beauty of software development.
Uh-huh.
Okay, last category. Algo Academy calls them skill-boosting projects.
What's special about these?
They focus on specific skills that are super valuable, might not be full-blown apps, but offer targeted learning.
I like that. What's the first one?
Building a simple game.
Ooh, fun. What kind of game?
Could be anything, tic-tac-toe, a puzzle, even a retro arcade game. It's about the logic, player interaction, and translating that into code.
So you're thinking about rules, turns, scoring, all that.
Exactly. Plus, handling user input, making it responsive, maybe adding visuals and animation.
Speaking of visuals, the article mentions HTML5 Canvas.
Ah, yeah, Canvas is awesome. It's like a drawing board right in the web page. You can create shapes, colors, animations with JavaScript.
So you're doing some design and animation too, not just logic.
For sure. And it all happens in the browser, no extra plugins.
Sounds like a really engaging way to learn visual programming.
It is. Next up, building a RESTful API.
We talked about APIs with the Weather app. What makes RESTful API special?
REST is like the standard way to build web APIs. It's a set of rules that make them easy to understand and use.
Like a common language for different apps to talk to each other.
Exactly. Building a RESTful API means understanding those rules, designing clear endpoints, handling different requests.
And documenting it well so others can use it.
You got it. It's a super valuable skill. APIs are everywhere these days.
Okay, last skill-boosting project. Let's hear it.
Building a Chrome extension.
Ooh, those are cool. I love how they add extra features to the browser.
Tons of possibilities. Block distracting websites, create custom to-do lists, dark mode, anything you can imagine.
Sounds like a fun way to learn how browsers work and how to extend them.
It is. You'd use specific APIs to interact with browser features, learn about security stuff like CORS. It's a security thing. Controls how websites from different domains can talk to each other. Keeps things safe.
So building a Chrome extension is about browser APIs and web security too.
You got it. It's a great way to dive into a more specialized area of development.
Okay, we're at the final project on Algo Academy's list.
Yeah.
And it's all about data visualization.
Yeah, data is everywhere these days. Being able to visualize it is like a superpower.
Absolutely. What's involved in building a data visualization dashboard?
It's a mix of data processing, charting libraries, and interactive visuals. You pick a data set, clean it up, find insights, and present them in a way that people can understand.
So it's programming, data analysis, and even a bit of storytelling.
You got it. You're using code to tell a story with the data.
What tools would you use?
D3.js and Chart.js are popular choices. They provide ready-made components for different types of charts and graphs.
So you don't have to code everything from scratch.
Nope. You can customize them, add interactivity, even create animations to make the data come alive.
The article mentioned performance optimization being important. Why is that?
When you have lots of data, performance matters. You don't want the dashboard to lag or crash.
Makes sense.
So you learn techniques for optimizing code, using efficient data structures, things like that.
Man, this sounds like a challenging but rewarding project.
It is. You're not just coding. You're learning how to make data meaningful and communicate it effectively.
Wow, we've covered so much. 11 project ideas, from simple websites to complex e-commerce platforms, even games and data visualization. It's a lot, right? But the point is, there's something for everyone.
I'm feeling inspired, but also a little overwhelmed.
That's natural. It's like we've opened up a giant toolbox and shown you all the amazing things you can build.
Now it's time to pick a tool and start creating. Okay, so we've explored a ton of project ideas, right? From basic websites to full-blown e-commerce, even touched on games and data viz.
It's been a whirlwind tour of coding possibilities. And what strikes me is how each project, even the simple ones, they teach you so much more than just the code itself.
Totally. You hit the nail on the head. It's problem solving, thinking like a programmer, breaking down big challenges.
It's developing that programmer's mindset. And that's what sticks with you, no matter what specific tech you use later on.
Now, the Algo Academy article we've been looking at, they wrap up by plugging their own platform naturally. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, Algo Academy can be a good addition to the mix. They've got structured courses, tutorials, algorithm practice. All that helps solidify the fundamentals, get you ready for interviews too. So it's like, alongside your own projects, you've got this guided path.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you're brand new to coding, it can help you not feel lost, give you some direction.
I remember when I started, it felt like a jungle of information out there. Having a roadmap would have been amazing.
For sure. And there's tons of other resources too, online courses, boot camps, communities where you can connect with other learners, get help when you're stuck.
It's about finding what clicks for you. Some people need that structured learning. Others learn best by diving in and building stuff.
The key is stay curious, keep experimenting, and don't be afraid to mess up. That's how you learn the most.
So to wrap this whole deep dive up, what's the one thing you hope our listener takes away?
Just get started. Pick a project that grabs your interest, something that makes you excited to code, and just go for it.
Don't wait until you think you know everything. Jump in, enjoy the process, and have some fun along the way.
Exactly. And remember, programming is always changing. New stuff to learn all the time, new challenges to tackle.
So embrace the journey, be open to new possibilities, and never stop learning. Who knows, maybe the next big app or website comes from one of the ideas we talked about today.
That would be awesome.
Definitely. Share your creations with the world, connect with other developers, keep pushing the limits of what's possible with code. That's what makes this field so exciting, right?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into exciting programming projects. We hope you got some great ideas and you're feeling fired up to start coding. Until next time, happy coding, everyone.